What's up, everybody?
My name is Anthony Irvin.
You beat yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah, CB myself.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm Jim Green.
Don't even need a hit of traffic light.
Okay, good.
Welcome to
One set.
Have you ever wanted to start your podcast but didn't know where to start? The One Set Bros are here to talk to you about Zencastr. Zencastr is the ultimate-based podcasting solution and now the all-in-one podcasting platform, making podcasting easy. They've sure made it easy for us to be able to record our podcast and our episodes every week for you guys. Once you've set up your account, you're simply one click away from recording a high-quality podcast with studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. My personal favorite feature is their multi-layered backups, which ensure our recordings are always in the highest quality, even during unstable web connections. And if you thought you needed multiple tools and services for your podcast, Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform allows you to create your podcast all in one place and distribute to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code OneSetPod, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences we do with all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story.
I'm not like really super concerned.
Right. And where do you got to go again?
I got to get off at Academy Road, which is exit 32 of 95.
Yeah.
Like,
so you got to deal with like past Callow Hill and all that bull.
Whoopsie.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
I would know what it's like to be in Philly anymore, but I don't have a job.
You got the unemployment all ironed out?
Yeah, that was one of the things I did before vacation. And so unemployment's all good. And I'm starting to get insurances back. By the way, don't care about this being on the episode. But yeah, during our time off, is why we, not really mainly because of me, but I was on vacation. Jim was just finishing up his recital stuff, so I ended up getting laid off from my job, and we had some company-wide cuts. I don't really care about saying it because I never said the company, so they had some company-wide cuts, so I unfortunately was one of the people that was laid off. It probably didn't help that I was still in a contract mode, but yeah. So getting all the unemployment done again, now I'm getting back in. Thankfully, our insurance is good until the end of the month, so I have to, look at some insurances again. It's pretty much, I've got it down to like 2 companies instead of having to take a whole month like last time, being like, okay, what's this price? What's that price? What's this company saying? What's this company saying? Because last time Jen was pregnant, now she's not, so it's good. It kind of makes things a little less, crazy knowing that we don't have a baby coming this time. So and at least going through this a second time, I didn't even have to especially with the unemployment, I just had to open up a new claim because my account was still up. However, the claim that I had before, it had already expired, because I think it'll go, if once you stop it, you have it until that calendar year ends, and then that claim gets expired. So then if you need to open up a new one, you just need to open up a brand new one instead of going with the old one. But if you stop it and then in that same year you need it again, you can reopen that same one. However, after that calendar year, you have to open up a new claim. So thankfully it was a little bit easier this time. Instead of spending like an hour on the phone with unemployment, that was fun. So
Well, and like just like the first time you got laid off from your last job, you had to like learn the unemployment system and how it all works. This time you're like, oh yeah, I'm a pro now. Like I'm good to go. Yeah.
It was basically 2 months of learning a whole new system of like learning the government. So it was fun. Yeah.
So cool.
And at least this time there's not as much pressure because, I can take my time with, trying to find something. I'm not in a situation where, I'm on the clock this time to being like, oh, okay, even this, like, not even earlier in the fall of last year, knowing that my previous employer, they were terminating my position, so I had like months to find a job. At least I'm not in a specific window of time to be like, okay, I got to find a job by this time. Like, I can take my time and find something,
Right.
and if something comes along, uh, then it's good. I'm in a position right now where I'm in a pretty good application process with one company, and I'm really hoping I get this one because this is a company that I would love to work for.
Mm.
And it's good pay, so it really helps.
That definitely helps, right?
Yeah,
It matters.
it definitely matters. I might shed a tear a little bit if I don't get picked, but
You're gonna shed a tear if you do
well,
get picked too.
yeah,
You're like,
that'll be a whole nother episode. So stay tuned.
yeah, stay tuned.
But yeah, um, it's definitely been interesting. And then we went on vacation, so getting laid off couldn't have happened at a better time. But
Dude,
because I was
so funny, dude. When you text me and you say, "Are you busy? Can I call you?" I'm like, "What's up?" Right?
my intent with saying that was that saying like, okay, if he sees that, he knows it's somewhat important, because we usually don't call each other unless it's important.
Yeah.
We're
And then,
usually just texting or like messaging each other. So when we're saying I need to call you, it's usually like, okay, I need to figure out like a time to
like,
just answer
like
this call because he needs something.
I was literally getting ready to leave for work, and it was my further studio, so I was going to be on the road for about an hour. So I was like, let me finish getting ready, get in the car, and shoot him a call. And then we talked through. You're like, I need some brotherly advice, and I was like, yeah, this is important.
Yeah,
It's not all the time that you're asking me for advice on stuff. Like, so I'm
right.
like, we talked through it, and you were trying to decide if you were um you had a couple days off the following week. You were going to come home, work a couple days, then go back to vacation.
Yeah.
And then you were like, apparently they laid a couple people off, and I was like, hold up. I was like, don't do it, don't do it. And then I'm
Please.
please. And then literally in between my first and my second class, you had messaged me. You're like, well, I just got laid off, and I was like, no.
Yeah. It was crazy because I had messaged my contractor earlier in the morning prior to calling you, because I messaged my manager to say like, hey, I saw this stuff online. Do you have any inkling of like, is my job okay? And he's like, I don't have any information about this. Cut to like the day. He probably knew, but at that time he's like, I don't really know anything at this point about any of that. I would probably just contact your contractor. So I emailed them. They didn't know until later in the day because they were out doing job things, and they got back to their offices and like, oh, we got this email from so company, and they have to start calling all their people who they gave a list to, saying like, these people are getting laid off. So they had to call all these people. So they had gotten back to me, and one of the people gave me a text, and they essentially said like, yeah, you were one of the ones that was let go. So I'll give you a call, blah blah blah. They gave me all the information, and then I got an email from my work saying, if you're getting this email, you have a mandatory meeting tomorrow morning. I'm like, well, I'm not going in. I'm already laid off. So I quickly found out through other, uh, you know, people that I worked with, that meeting was for people who were getting laid off. So I'm glad I didn't have to go in for 2 hours like said job before, and then had the same thing happen, like deja vu. So that was good. Didn't have to worry about sitting in that type of awkward thing like, oh.
Yeah, and at least you didn't have to sit around and wonder, am I actually gonna get late? Like, it just happened like that day, pretty much, right?
Yeah, because it was basically an email that said like, it's a mandatory meeting because we need to talk about the restructuring of blah 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 and restructuring of this and that. I'm like, it didn't necessarily say anything of like, oh, you're gonna get cut, but it was like I kind of knew that's probably what they were going to talk about. But then later, because I talked to one of my other buddies who was in that meeting, and he's like, yeah, they brought us in and they said, well, unfortunately, if you are in this room right now, you are unfortunately being laid off due to blah 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 blah. So I was like, oh man. So thankfully, some of the people I'm like keeping in touch with, I actually saw said buddy, my wrestling buddy from work. I saw him at Raw the other night, which
Oh,
wasn't
that's
even-
awesome.
So I got to see him. So we'll talk about Raw because we got a decent amount to talk about that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, it was a night to remember for that one. So, I'm keeping in touch with a couple people from the company. It just was unfortunate because I started gaining a lot of like, work friendships with a lot of people and starting to really feel comfortable talking with a lot of people and building those, work relationships. And then just bam, like you're done. So that's the only part of it that really sucked because I was really starting to like the, you know, not to be like I was really excited to go to work to see the people, but it was because it's more like, oh, you got to be excited to go to do the work you got to do. That was fun because I did like what I was doing, but the atmosphere of the people I was working with, I was just starting to get really comfortable and really knowing everybody and just knowing the atmosphere. So it's just unfortunate that I was just getting settled into it and then it just got cut off. So
Yeah, and especially like you went from like this job over here that you were like, I've been doing the same thing for like 15 years,
yeah.
and then you got here and you were learning so much new stuff,
Mhm.
which I think for like when I think about obviously like the money end of it is a big deal, like trying to figure out like, well, how do I survive without the job and the unemployment, um, but aside from that, I'm like, you've learned so much that you can go get a job in a similar position and say, oh, well, I have experience in this. Like,
Exactly.
you're not, you'll probably have to do training at a new job in their systems. But as far as like all of the advanced technology that you learned at that company versus what you were doing before,
Oh yeah.
you can take that and run with it. Like,
Oh, absolutely. Because even though it was like 8-9 months that I was there, I definitely gained a lot more experience than what I had before. So now going back into the job market, I have the certain experiences and techniques and requirements for certain jobs that I was looking for prior that I didn't have. Now I can say that okay, I have said thing now. I have this and have that, so I can feel confident. I may still not have the full amount of like year experience, but I can say that I've been experienced in those type of environments.
yeah.
So
So those bigger
it's helping me
jobs,
now.
those bigger jobs that you were yearning for before, where you're like, there's no way I'm going from this place here to that place there.
Yeah.
The place that you were just at is just a stepping stone to get you to that next bigger place, man. I'm like,
Yeah. So it's definitely a good thing, and hoping that just this little bit of experience gets me like pushed into one of those jobs, then I can start to advance even more now. So just like anybody, and my mother-in-law says this, my mom says this, that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So I'm just taking it as, like you said, a stepping stone, that this had to happen. Maybe it was one of those things like I needed just that little bit of a job to get the experience I needed to start getting into this other next, stepping stone. So until then, I'm taking a little bit of time before getting, back onto the job market, still obviously applying and stuff. But, I was saying on my social medias, I'm taking clients more, for my studio work. I'm in the studio now with a client that I'm almost done producing with. And, you know, if anybody sees this and they're in the Delaware County surrounding areas, I do have a home studio here and I do a lot of production. Feel free to message me. You can either message me through the One Set Pod or my music stuff if you know. And then I'm actually able to start playing gigs again at this point because your boy needs some money. So,
but at the same time, you were also like really bummed out that you weren't going to be able to play as many shows as you wanted to play based on your work schedule. Like, so
I was, and the job that I'm yearning for right now, that I'm hoping it's back to a Monday 9 to 5 job.
There you go.
So then at least I know then. I mean, I still probably I mean, I think it would be like either a 9 to 5 or like an 8 to 5 or 8 to 4 or something like that. So even then, I mean, I would still be able to keep Fridays and Saturdays to play shows then.
There you
So
go.
it kind of like, ooh, I can get back to my regular lifestyle again. But
Yeah.
but I was really liking, even though like the 11 to 12 hour shifts, it was a lot because the first day on the 11-hour 4 days was tough, and the last day were tough.
Mhm.
The 12 hours weren't bad, just the last day on the 12 hours, because everybody's just anxious to get done and be ready for their time off.
Yep.
So I can't really say that I never got used to it, but I got into the flow of it. Uh, but yeah, it was nice to have like Mondays and Tuesday off, because then I can get stuff done around the house, and especially with Anthony's party this past year, I don't know how we would have done it without me helping out that week and just getting the whole house set up.
Right.
We would never have had the time just trying to do it all on the weekends. So it'll be, again, an adjustment to go back to a standard 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. But if I do come across another job that is kind of similar to what I had, then at least it'll be, going back to that, or maybe I'll get the Sunday to Wednesday type of thing that I wanted out of another job. So we'll see. But yeah, so I'm definitely gonna be playing, some shows, and I have some vacations here and there. But I'm definitely gonna try to take, any type of gig, at least that's paying, for the time being. I have one or two that are just festivals that, I'm not getting paid for, but they're just more to just get me back into the groove.
And some
So,
exposure never
mhm.
hurts.
Yeah, exposure never hurts. So I'm playing the Media Porch Fest again, which I played last year. So more information is going to be coming out about that. Hopefully by the time this one's out, hopefully I'll have some information about that. If not, maybe next week. I'm playing our Delco Quarantine Open Mic Festival in November, and then I'm back at John Morton's again in October and November. So looking forward to getting back to seeing the John Morton's family. It's always fun to go back over there.
Yeah, I know. I know you love playing there. I love seeing you there. I love the environment in there, and their food is good, by the way.
Yeah,
So
I've only really maybe I mean, I know the owner, and I've had his food at like other bars, and it's out of this world. So I don't think I've ever really ate at John's, but I know they're really good at their roast beef. Their roast beef is their biggest seller.
they're big hit. Yeah.
So I definitely do not doubt that their food is out of the park, because said manager is great at what he does music wise, and like he's a great manager and store bar owner. So yeah. As far as personal things, on since we got my little things out of the way, I know you had a lot of dance stuff going on at the same time with your recitals and Beat Addicts and everything.
Yeah, so the Beat Addict show was a big success. I was really the proudest of my pieces this year that I've been in a long time. Just this year in general has just been really good to me, in the dance aspect of my life, like just feeling rejuvenated in that department, and um, the new routines that I've started at my Maryland studio for their next comp season. I've got eight solos and duos that I'm wrapping up literally tomorrow. Like I have 3 of them done. I've got 5 of them that I'm finishing tomorrow, and then I'm in the process of starting 2 groups down there. Usually I don't rush to get them done in the summer, but your boy's going back to school, so with
I
that,
was just gonna say, I was just thinking, is he gonna say it? Is he willing to say it, or are we just gonna still hang on it? But
yeah,
yeah, man, I'm so stoked for you. This is a great opportunity for you.
it's a big lifestyle change for me, a big like career jump that I'm making. I'm not going to get into what I'm going to school for just yet, but the schedule wise, I am going to be in school Monday to Thursday during the day, and then going and teaching Monday through Friday night, and then studying on the weekends for the next 2 years. It's going to be really, really
Mm.
crazy, but it'll be worth it in the long run.
We always like to just put ourselves in the craziest situations. And it's weird how we're both like that. We always like to just stack our schedules, and people always look at it as like, how do you do it? We're like, we don't know. It's like we like being busy, and we always like to just be on the top of like insanity, that like everything is like, but I think we both just like uh excel when we're at our busiest, and we're like, and when we have like a deadline, or just like, okay, something needs to get done at this point. It's crazy how we're both like that.
Well, we've talked on here multiple times about not rushing our creativity, and I was texting you at the end of last week. You were on vacation, so we barely talked. You didn't know that like the school thing was legitimately happening, which it was up in the air. I knew I was going back, but I didn't know if I was going to be able to start as soon as this month, or if it was going to have to get delayed. I'm not going to
because you were waiting for a couple things to get back on your end to just double check. So I was like, all right. I mean, at least he knows he's doing it. It's just a matter of waiting on a phone call.
Yeah, it was, the financial aid was held up a little bit. But that I got the call last Wednesday, like, everything is good, and we're ready to start on the 25th. I was like, what? Now, for
Wait a minute,
hold up. The Maryland projects that I had positioned them to get them done in case I was starting, so I was already on the roll with that. And the schedule was built out. Like I was set up to get them done tomorrow. And now that I got that call last week, it was just like, okay, it's happening, right?
Michael Scott, all that,
all of it. So, and those routines, just like getting into the rushing of the creativity, I like, again, just like, it's some of my favorite work that I've done in a long time. So I like the under pressure thing, the aspect of being under pressure. Like you said, we like to put ourselves in these positions like we're under pressure. It's going to be tough, and there are going to be times where I'm like, something's got to give here, and I'm going to have to call out a teaching, which I never love to do. I just don't. Especially in a field where I don't get any pay time off. Like, taking off means you just don't get paid. So
I definitely like know how that felt, because, being the contractor, I was so used to, with my previous employer now, being there for 15 years, if I took off, I knew I was still getting paid. But with this past job, I was still a contractor. So if I took off, I didn't get paid. So
you just didn't get paid. Yeah.
I had to be like structured with taking off, and if I needed to. So, I rarely did. The only times I really took off was if I was sick. So, I think there was only maybe 3 or 4 days that I really did. So I kind of had to just be like, okay, well, I'm just not getting paid. So that's why I was so anxious to be getting on as a full-time employee, so then I can, get the benefits and be able to worry about if I had to take off, at least I was still getting paid. But it's crazy work like that. And I think that's also why this 200 episode challenge is just going to elevate us even more, because as we're doing this, we're just about 12 to 11 episodes from that. And, we are closer than what we were 2 months ago. But, I think if we can get another session or two in before you really get to school, or sometime, I'm going to make some video tutorials for you, like I was telling you. But I think the moral of it is that that's going to be another pressure situation for us to just get that done and fixated and just totally done. So once we get down to like those last 5 episodes, I think that's when we're going to start click on and be like, we got to get this done.
Yep. And luckily, with rushing to get the routines done in Maryland, I will be like starting the new the new dance season starts when the school seasons start.
Yeah.
Right? So getting settled in to that isn't really, there's not a lot of creative that goes into that. It's just getting acclimated to the new students and like just the new schedule situation. Because like the schedule adjusts depending on the studio's class schedule, and I'm between 4 different studios. One of them I'm there 2 nights in the week, but it's going to be, I at least get to start school next week with no teaching whatsoever. Like I literally just have the first week to get settled into the school situation.
That's good.
And then the following week, I'm only starting 3 nights of teaching instead of 5. So it's like a slow roll.
That's good.
Adding them in. It'll be that second week. No, the third week of September that I'll be actually at all 5 studios. My first and second week, I think I'm back down in Maryland on the Wednesdays, because my Wednesday studio doesn't start until that third week.
Gotcha.
But any rate, I got a test every 5 weeks. So it'll be like that 5th week, I'll just be like full blown study mode.
Yeah.
And then after every test, like when I get through that first test at the end of September, that weekend, I'll be like, okay, I can chill out, and I'll be in big practice mode for that 200 challenge on the guitar. Like that'll be a big weekend to really drive that home.
Sure.
And then I think, well, after my second test, we'll be on like episode 198 or 199. So we'll have to try to coordinate like getting together to actually record us doing the stuff like that.
Yeah.
That'll be about when we need to lay it all down. So
yeah. And knowing that that's whether if I'm employed at that time, we'll probably either still have to wait for like a weekend or those things. Cause you'll be, in school classes during the week. So, we'll have to wait for like a Saturday or Sunday where we can just take a day to just be like, okay, just film everything.
Yeah. If you're not, we'll be able to finesse that on a Friday, like during the day, like that.
That's true. Yeah.
My Fridays during the day are flexible I say that and it's like, when am I going to do laundry? Fridays.
Yeah.
But no, I can also try to squeeze in on the weekends. I'm just trying not to load up the weekends, because like the weekends are between going to school and then teaching at night. It's like, I'm going to be able to maybe get an hour of studying in every night. And then Saturdays and Sundays, it's like, okay, down to it. My final for this course is an 8-hour exam.
Wow.
So it's 8 hours of written, oral, and practical. They have like an official like come in to do the oral and practical exam part of it.
Gotcha.
Again, not getting too far into it yet, but
it definitely wouldn't be something that you weren't interested in if you this is something that like you took a lot of time to be like, okay, and again, not going to reveal much, but it was something that you're like, okay, this is something I'm interested in and I'm willing to go through this whole course to get there. And so it's definitely something you would want to definitely be interested in, instead of just suffering through something like, oh, I just got to do this because I got to start making more money. At least it's something that you knew you were like, okay, I think I can get into this.
I have been waiting I don't want to say my entire adult life for this, but I think once I got into like I think once I turned 30 and really thought like, all right, this dance life isn't going to suffice to provide for me forever.
Right.
I mean, I love it so much. That's why I have continued to do it all this time.
Absolutely.
But I've been mostly in the last 5 years yearning to find something else to help supplement the rest of my life, like just being able to do like live comfortably instead of
Yeah.
like, and I've been comfortably
Yeah.
living, and that's like, okay, I'm getting the bills paid, and but there's like certain things that I don't have in my life that I really could have in my life that I'm like,
Hmm.
I need, like, there has to be something else. And once this all
Right.
kind of came to fruition, I was like, that's it. Like
Yep.
that's this, like, it, I learned about it, and literally I learned about it on a Tuesday. And that weekend I went to an open house at the school, and I was like, this is what I've been waiting for, like for definitely the last 5 years, to find that something. Um, so it was just like a 2 month process of like, okay, getting the application in, doing the financial aid business, and then once that came through, and I went up and signed off on like, okay, I am agreeing to take this financial aid money. I was like, this is happening. And they're like, okay,
Hmm.
orientation is Wednesday and you'll start on Monday the 25th. I'm like,
Huh?
so literally after we're done recording this morning, I am going to orientation, and then I start school on Monday.
That's great.
Dude, it's I'm like, I'm barely nervous about it, just because I have been waiting for
Yeah.
this something for so long that I'm like, uh, let's go.
Whoopsie.
Like, for a lack of
Yeah.
better phrase, like I'm just like,
Yeah, man.
let's do this.
It's gonna be fun because just like anything, there's gonna be times where you're gonna be like, "What did I get myself into?" There's gonna be times where like, "Okay, I'm really getting this." Then there's gonna be times where like you're gonna be like, "I don't even know if I can do this." But then I'm gonna, just not even me, I know everybody's gonna be at that finishing line for you. We're gonna be right there on your
Mhm,
graduation day.
mhm.
We're gonna be giving you thumbs up because you did it. So buddy, congratulations, all the luck to everything, and
Thank you.
can't wait to be there on that graduation day for you.
Yeah, man, thank you so much. I have to give a shout out to Cheyenne, who just graduated EMT school. So
Woo!
snaps to my honey Cheyenne. So proud of her, and I watched her go through. I don't know what I got myself into. I don't know if I can do this, and I was like, you are volunteering with other people that you're like, I don't understand how you are in this work field. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you are so smart, you can do this. And
Yep.
like, just this past Saturday, her texting me being like, I passed. And I like, she had,
Right.
yeah, so she has to take the state exam still, but like, that's all happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's got to do field training. So I think that her um her goal is to do the career switch in January, which it just kind of makes sense with
Hmm.
like, she's going to have to work holidays, which is like, she knew it going into it. Um she doesn't want to have to work this Christmas, which I totally understand. I'm going to have to work
Yeah,
holidays too once I go into that field that I'm switching to. Um so I understand. But
for sure.
like, she just did all that, and then I am starting this journey, and then like, there's just so many good things are happening. Like, we're really tag teaming this life together, and
Yeah, man.
taking it on. So um man, we do have that raw stuff to get into. we
I
got
was gonna say,
we got
we
we got 10 minutes on this one.
yeah, I was figuring, let's take the next like 10-15 minutes. If so, I know we just did a little bit of life updates. We haven't done a long life update in a while. So
So it was just like, let's pile it on in this one, like,
we'll
that's
yeah, we'll put a little thing in the beginning just saying if you don't want to see the life update, click to this point to get a little bit of raw update. So we'll get into it. So me, Jen, and my son Anthony, we went to Raw in Philly this week, and by God, it was probably the best. I mean, I know you, Jen, and I were at some Raws, and we went to the Wells Fargo Center, which is now the Xfinity Mobile Arena.
Did not
Uh,
did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, they just changed it, and they just recently within this past weekend, because Lincoln Park was at their arena over the weekend on the 16th, and I think that was the first promoted show that they made themselves, the Xfinity Mobile Arena.
Mm.
So, and then they changed that all for the Raw situation too. So, like I was saying, we've been to events and they were amazing, but by God, this had to have been the best wrestling event that I've ever been to, just because my son probably had the biggest moment of his life, because and
It's,
he did things that we've been to so many events, and he did something that we never would have been able to do.
yeah.
So
And like, so you have been waiting until he was old enough to take him to a wrestling show, and
yeah,
you didn't think that he was going to be this invested in wrestling at the age of 5. So like his 5th birthday rolled around and you told him like, dude, we're going to Raw. And he was like, why?
yeah. I'm like, if you would have known how much money I spent on these damn tickets, buddy, you would know why I.
Yeah, and then
he was in like present mode, like opening up his presents, and I'm like, I probably should have put it in a present for you, but I had no time. But then I reiterated it after later that night, once he was out of present mode. I said, dude, we're going to Raw. He's like, yeah, that's awesome. I'm like, okay, that's the reaction I wanted.
The reaction you were looking for. Sure.
So, dude, we get there and we go down the ramp. He's like, look at the ring, Dad, and look how close. I'm like, that's awesome. Yeah, so he's excited.
Yeah.
And, we got to see main event 2 matches that happened before Raw. We had the War Raiders and LWO in a tag team match, and it was awesome. I got him doing the war chant, and I was like, yes.
and that's just at the start of the show, and you're just like, this is awesome already.
Oh, I was like, this is gonna be. I looked at Jen. I'm like, this is gonna be a fun night. I'm stoked. He was all for it,
and you had no idea just how fun it was about to get. Like, it's just.
Exactly. So, we went to the merch booth, and he got a heavyweight title belt, and he got they were selling the Jey Uso hands, so he got those, and so say it now. When you go back and watch the Raw from this week, you can actually see him with like the actual hands and everything. I know you rewatched, so you probably saw a little bit of it.
Yeah.
So he got the heavyweight belt, and we got a program that had like all the wrestlers on there, so it was cool. We tried to get him like a t-shirt or a hat. He didn't want any of that, so we're like, we're not going to spend the money if he's not going to wear one.
He's 5. He's not into clothes, right?
Yeah.
So.
I was like, dude, do you want a Penta shirt? He's like, nope. I'm like, well,
you're like, all right, I'll save that money for something else then.
Yeah, I'm like, well, then I'm not going to spend the money on it. So,
yeah.
So then, and he also got to send a message to John Cena. Which was funny. So they had a guy out near the merch booth, and he just had a microphone, and which is one thing that was weird about it. It was the SmackDown microphone, because it was blue, not red. I'm like, why would you bring the SmackDown microphone to a Raw event? But whatever.
And you want to say like, okay, John Cena is primarily on SmackDown, but he's on both shows, really, right?
That's true. I'm like, okay, they probably did it because he's primarily on SmackDown, so that makes a little bit of sense. But still, you're at Raw. Should have been probably the Raw one, but anyway. So they had the microphone set up right like out in like the open area, and he was saying like, hey, anybody want to send a message to John Cena? So they had like kids and people going up and just saying little things. So I said, hey, are you gonna be here for a few minutes? He's like, yeah, I'll probably be here for about 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, cool, we'll be back after we go through the merch, because we were right there. So we get out of the merch after buying our stuff. We go back to him, and Little Tone goes up to it, and I'm like, here, say something to John Cena. He's like, you can't see me. And I'm like, yes. So it was awesome. Oh, so we get there, he sees the War Raiders, and I'm trying to remember who the other match was. It was Dragon Lee and Dragon Lee versus El Grande Americano.
Okay.
So they had the main event matches. So that was pretty cool too. So that was a good match. And then, started Raw and everything. And right before Raw starts, the one girl behind us was saying they blocked off our section because I tried to go up and they said nobody can go up and down. I'm like, he's about to come. I'm like,
Jey
dude,
Uso's coming down the
I'm
ramp.
like,
Yep.
dude, we got to get everything ready. So we got his sunglasses, got his the poster board and everything, and so Seth Rollins comes out, and I'm like, all right, cool. He's gonna start out the thing, and we're gonna have this big explosion with Jay. So he gets and starts cutting his promo. Jay comes out. I'm like, dude, all right, cool, blah, 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 blah. And he's down, literally stops the row behind us. And I'm like, this couldn't be hadn't been the perfect moment of how I bought these tickets, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, and where you bought them, because if you were a couple rows back, forget it. Like,
yeah. And, I told you that my intention was to get the poster board and just make it to actually attract him to come down there that far. And I think he did see the poster board. He didn't necessarily acknowledge it, but, I think that drove him closer to that area because I think he probably knew that's probably where his center, and I'm probably figuring they probably tell him to probably go around that area, especially probably for the camera angle too, because when you see the set, in the arena they have a whole new Titantron up top for the arena. It's a whole LED screen, and then they have all the lights centering around that. So I know from previous Raws we went to, I don't think they had like the circle lighting. They had just like little things around. So that was a little bit of a new change. And then they obviously had the Titantron, which was all new. Everything was set up really, really nicely, the typical new Raw stuff. So again, when I bought these tickets, I was about to buy row 11 because I'm like, all right, I got to try to get them as close to like the bottom as I can. I was about to buy row 11. It got bought out. I'm like, all right, so then let me buy row 10. I'm like, this is probably the best bet I can do. And dude, like I said, it couldn't have worked out better.
So for him to have come down and stopped, and I'm like, how often does he come down and stop on the staircase and cut the promo in the stands? And I'm like, because I had gotten home from work late from Maryland, and you'd messaged me like, dude, and I'm like, I haven't started Raw yet, and I'm like,
and that's all I had to say. I'm like, that's gonna give him the inkling to be like, something happened. I gotta watch. So I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything. Just, dude.
I mean, I was already gonna watch because I knew you were there. But for you to say that, I was like, all right, so it's happening. So then I watched Jey Uso. I'm like, all right, he's gonna come down. He's gonna pass Anthony, and then he stops right
literally
next to you,
right there.
And I'm like, oh my god! And then and then Seth Rollins is talking back to him, and all you hear is yeet yeet, and you see Jey Uso passing the mic around to the kids all that. And I'm like, when has he ever even done that? And
that's what I said too. I said to Jim, like, he never passes it to the kids. So then I'm like, here, dude, get it. And he's like, oh yeah. And then he passes it to Anthony. He's like, yeet. I'm like, yeah.
Dude.
And then I totally forgot that I'm on TV. I'm like, oh, geez, I'm looking like a goober. Like,
you didn't, dude. I know you texted that to me. I was like, no, you were totally stoked, and like that is a forever memory. Like the rest of your life you're gonna have, man. Your first time taking little Ant to his first wrestling show, and that happens. I'm like,
yeah, man.
It doesn't get any better than that. Like it's so awesome.
And
so
again,
awesome.
he other than the Jey Uso thing, he got to see his boy Penta. He got to see LA Knight. So all the wrestlers, other than the only better thing that probably would have happened is if Cody and Cena came out. But obviously they're on SmackDown. But that would have been the icing on the cake if Cena or Cody came out randomly.
If they were both on the show, you're like, done. Like,
and
there's nothing else.
Roman Reigns. You got to see Roman Reigns, so it was a great show. And on the fact, it was a great show no matter what. I mean, the Raw was great no matter what.
Yeah, it wasn't like you just had the Jey Uso moment and then the rest of the show was kind of meh. Like, the whole show, I was like, Dude, they are getting a stacked. They're at like one of the best Raws ever. I mean, I know
It was a great show, and they're like I said, Penta finally got like a win, so that was great.
Yeah, we were sitting here. I mean, Cheyenne's always mega mad when Penta loses, and she's always
Same.
mega pissed when
Ben's the same way. She's like, he never loses. When's he gonna get a win? And then she's like, he got a win, Ant.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. When they have Penta, like last week was her final week, and they didn't even have Penta on TV, and she was like, "What the
whoopsie."
She was
When-
like, "That's a bad omen." I was like, "He's
and
definitely going to be on this week because he wasn't on last week."
And I rewatched Raw from the previous week, and they had the segment with Xavier Woods and Grayson and Kofi, and they were talking about a AAA with Penta and the hat and everything, or what I think it happened on SmackDown. So then they were saying like, "Oh well, you're gonna face Penta next week," and I'm like, "I'm gonna make you laugh." So, so I was saying, dude, Ant, Penta's gonna be there at Raw. She's like, oh, he's gonna be there next week. He's like, oh, wait, that's not us. I'm like, it's tomorrow. She's like, oh, it's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
It's literally tomorrow. She totally forgot they were going for the next day. I'm like, that's literally tomorrow. Like,
so good, dude.
and he had the biggest like, oh my god, because he loves Penta too.
Yeah,
so
Penta's great.
I mean, what kid doesn't like Penta right now?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just and again, I'll put some like screenshots of Anth that we saw, and plus the fact that we got on the WWE Instagram with Jay, and they had the whole Yeet thing. I'm like, I didn't even think about any of that, and then
dude, watching it back, because I've watched it back like 4 or 5 times now, and like when he goes 4 letters, 1 word, and you're standing there and you're just like, I bust out laughing every time I see it. I'm like, I'm gonna literally be able to open up Netflix and watch Anthony yeet, and see Lil Tone get on the mic and go yeet.
And I told my mother-in-law, I'm like, this is on forever. Like, this is forever in the archives of WWE. So we can always go back, and even if like I have to show somebody, I'm like, here, go on Netflix. Like, my son is on Netflix forever. Like,
it's so good, dude.
He got on the freaking mic at Raw. Like, what? Again, how many kids can say that they got on the mic on Monday Night Raw?
It's literally little Anthony and those 2 or 3 other kids that got to go on. Like, that's it, because he's never done that with the kids before.
No,
like, it's just
so it was awesome. It was a night, and rightfully so. He started getting a little tired near the end, but then once like the main event, he started getting a little bit more up, but then he was ready to go at the end of the night.
Yeah,
and
but you guys got an Extreme Rules match for the main event. I'm like, dude,
yeah.
Like the only other thing, like we at least when we went to Raw 10 years ago got to see Roman Reigns win the WWE Championship from Sheamus. Vince McMahon was on the show.
Yeah.
Say what you want about that now, but back then it was it was a pretty big deal for Vince to be on Raw, like on camera, like. But like that show for you had to be like top tier. One of the best dad memories that you'll have forever. Like, I'm sitting there like getting laid off from your job. I'm like, that has to be so low on the totem pole right now compared to like that. Yeah. Just coming off vacation last week. You took him to see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie in the theater.
Yeah, and he literally was like reciting everything in the movie while we were watching, and I'm like, this is like the icing on the cake to the rest of like the dad and me time. Even though I know Jen was with us, but still, it's say like having moments, because I think she knew obviously I was doing it mainly for him to really get this. So and the movie thing was mainly just for me and him. But he had fun doing that too. We were decked out in our Ninja Turtle gear. And
I love that.
It was awesome,
dude. Let's super stoked for you. Let's wrap this one up. We're gonna continue into the next episode. We've got some more stuff to talk about.
Absolutely, man. I know we didn't do our little credentials in the beginning, which is all good. We wanted to kind of just get right into our, topics today. But again, if you guys are still watching at this point, make sure you guys are following us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and right here, especially on YouTube. Hit that notification bell when we are uploading our episodes. Jim, let everybody know where they can hang out with us inside and outside of our episodes.
That is the Facebook group One Set Fam. Again, that's the number one Set Fam on Facebook. That's where we get all of our fam and community interaction rolling. So definitely check that out, y'all. I love this one. We haven't caught up on an episode together in a couple weeks, and
Yeah.
so much has happened in this couple weeks. So it was good to just kind of free roll all of that stuff out there. So
Yeah. So apologies to anybody if it was kind of like somewhat of a boring one, but again, we haven't had a really like regroup episode, and just we haven't really talked a lot in the last like week and a half. So we had a little bit of wrestling talk, a little bit of life updates. So if you liked it, thank you guys. If not, next one we'll have a little bit more structure. But thank you all again, and to all our new and OGs, we love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. This has been One Set.
all the love to you.